people, I know y'all heard that opening. Did they peep that opening?
Word.
Did they peep it, Marcus?
Is that new life?
Is it new life? Did
blessings?
I just get my entire life?
Is that blessings on blessings on blessings? We got blessed?
Blessings on blessings. Listen, this is Both Sides that you heard in the intro, and of course, the person that was on the intro is here with us today. But before we get into that, before we
Mr.
jump
Nice.
the gun, right? Yes, you are Marcus. I'm Jordan. You are listening to Both Sides on 100.9 FM WXIR. You can visit the website 109WXIR.com to get all of the information that's happening here at the studio, stuff we're doing in the community. We offer classes here that are, for the most part, open to the public. So get involved in that. Our Instagram, both_sides1. I think we got everything out the way. Did we get everything out the way? Because I'm pretty excited about
By
this.
we, you mean you? Because
Right?
I'm pretty sure last week's episode didn't have none of that in it. Maybe like a few parts of it. You know what it is? I be slipping on the Instagram. It's both_sides1. Both_sides1.
I'm gonna need you to get your life
together. Both underscores.
Right. But we have a special guest, MC Ronzi.
AKA.
There is no AKA. I was gonna say, what is the AKA?
You said AKA, I felt like I had to come through with it.
Right.
So, how you feeling on this Thursday?
Oh, I'm feeling blessed, man. Yo, who did that intro for y'all, man? That joint was fire.
I'm just saying.
Yo, up and coming artist now, me.
Right, up and coming. What you?
He's doing his thing out here.
He doing his thing.
He's
That's
out
what's
here.
up.
Ain't no up and coming. He's on tour right now. I'm gonna need you to
man.
put some respect on his name right now.
Put some respect. Put some trouble in it.
Right. Put some respect on his name.
Put some trouble in it.
Right. We are so glad that you're here to
definitely.
join us.
That's
How you
what's up.
feeling? I mean, tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah, man.
How
listen,
are things?
I'm excited for the weekend. You know what I mean? Got a couple things lined up. Got a couple concerts this coming weekend. And yeah, man, it just feels good. Feels good. Good morning to you guys. You know what I mean?
Morning.
Thanks for putting us in. It sounds like you got a busy schedule. And also, again, very, very greatly appreciate the opening.
Awesome.
I'm sure Ms. Jordan had a hand in that, letting you know that we were openless.
Absolutely not. And I was
actually
I was telling them off air before we got on air. I told them we just had a meeting not too long ago with some people here, and they were talking about how we should have an open.
That's what's up.
I mean, he just blessed us, like you
Came
said.
through.
He just blessed us with it. God was like, look, I'm gonna just give y'all this opening.
Y'all
don't even gotta look for it. I'm gonna just give it to y'all.
Well, you know, I'm happy I can help.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I heard the voice of the Lord say
there you go.
Intro.
There you go.
Amen.
Amen. Yes.
And with that, I think that
we can jump into it. Right. We can jump into it. So I want to hear. I mean, you are MC Ronzi. You have been doing this rap thing for a while. How many years now?
Think about 8 or 9 now.
8, so you got almost a decade in
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's safe to say you a vet. You a vet, low-key vet in these streets. But let's go back to the beginning and, how did it start for people? I don't know how anybody hasn't heard of you, but, it might be some people out here that's struggling in these streets and they haven't heard of you. How did this all start? How did you fall in love with rapping? What drew you to this? Where did it all begin? Where did MC Ronzi come from?
I used to rap, when I was younger. It was like one of those things where it's just like kind of like a hobby thing. I actually wanted to make beats, and funny thing was I just wasn't good at it. I tried hard, but it's like my beats never would come out right. Like if you hear any of my albums, there's probably 1 or 2 beats that I've made this entire time that actually made it, but all the rest of them, they just in the vault. But I got a lot of my family are involved in different music and stuff like that, doing quartet music, and I was actually at a concert with my uncle, and he asked me if I would spit a verse on a quartet song, and that verse was the start of MC Ronzi. You know what I mean? And the rest is
rock and roll history.
The rest is rock and roll history.
Now, for those, I was gonna say, for those who don't know, you are a Christian rapper.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, were you always a Christian rapper? Did you start there?
When
you left producing alone.
Let's say that I started there. Now everything before that, it was I always had clean music. There was never any cursing in any of my raps, but I started out trying to do secular
Fresh
music.
Prince, who was you?
I
Fresh,
was the Fresh Prince.
Understand.
Yeah, you know what? They didn't get it. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, but my first first official recordings was like over like old school songs. Like I think the first one was some Johnny Gill song. Rock with you or rock with love you the right way or something like that. It had an open spot on it. So
Shouts to Johnny.
Yeah, I just threw a verse in there. You know what I mean, hoping that he would hear it. I'm glad he didn't. But yeah, so like I started out trying to do secular music, but there was always that call, like to do something different. And I was different anyway. When it came to my music, and the Bible itself calls us peculiar people.
Amen.
And in a royal priesthood, that's why I was the Fresh Prince of gospel rap.
Amen. There you go.
So you put
that
stamp
on
it. Who paid attention to it out
Listen,
there?
he's a rapper. Listen, he gonna play with the words now. Don't get it twisted. Now, how many albums and how many mixtapes do you have out?
Albums.
Total.
I have 3 albums in total. POE, Hero, and The Potter's Hand. Mixtapes. I have about. I think I did about 11 mixtapes. How many of them were actually good? Probably about 4.
Okay.
But I did 11 of them. Like the first ones was like the ones from pre-Christian rap rhyme.
Okay.
So
you was out here just
I was just out here. Listen, every beat that came on the radio, I was rapping. I was out here. I was laying the groundwork for who I am today.
Right. Every beat that came on the radio, he was rapping.
On the radio, man. If YouTube had it, I had it.
Right.
There you go.
Ain't nothing wrong with that because, like you said, it developed the skills for where you are now.
Yeah.
And we may be able to hear a little freestyle at the end, time warranty,
permitting,
so that people can see that. But many people don't know that your actual last release was actually a double album.
Yeah.
Hero and In the Potter's Hands, those came out at the same time. Tell a little bit about the process of, releasing a double album. There's not too many artists that I can think of offhand that have done that successfully. And so, just share a little bit about the process and what made you want to do a double album in the first place.
I was actually, I was working on a few songs like probably the week after POE released, and POE came out in 2012. So the song,
and what does POE stand for?
I was going to say, what is
POE stands for Power Over Everything. It's in relation to when Jesus went back to heaven and he sent us the Holy Ghost. You know what I mean? So it's like when the Holy Ghost came back, we had power over everything.
Amen.
And right after I finished that album, there was like, it's kind of like when you're working all day and then you get off of work and you get that burst of energy. That's kind of how it felt when I finished the first album. It's like as soon as it was done, I just had like all these ideas, so I just started recording new stuff. And I was gonna like try to release a re-release of the album, but then the new music didn't really fit. So
it was gonna be like a deluxe type album. Okay.
So I kind of like put the new music on the shelf, and I just kind of was chilling and going through life, promoting the first album.
Right.
And then, a lot of people, nobody specifically welcomes tragedy, but different things happen in life that kind of change the direction of the type of music that I made. And it didn't really fit with the new music I was creating either. And that's where you get 2 separate albums, because it's almost like I'm rapping from not 2 personalities, but 2 different feelings, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like a praise and worship, or this is happy rhyme, this is not so happy rhyme.
Right, I feel you.
And In the Potter's Hand just became like this album of music that you wouldn't normally hear from me. And following the death of my grandmother, it really was a devastating moment. But what came out of it was some of like the best lyrics I've ever written, and that's how In the Potter's Hand actually was able to be finished. You know what I mean? Like I really I was trying to cope and trying to deal, and I started to write more, and that's where that came from. And then when I got finished with it, and I loved what I heard, it gave me the push to finish the Hero album. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put it all out.
Right.
And there you go.
Okay. So from what I'm hearing, In the Potter's Hand sounds like a more emotional
Yeah.
side,
Mm-hmm.
where you can kind of pull back the layers and kind of see deeper into who Ron is.
Mm-hmm.
Where Hero is MC Ronzi, that same energy, that same swag,
Yeah.
that's from POE.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, the Hero album is like, it's special to me as well. It's like, it's the album that not only people expect from me, but the true essence of like who I am. Like, you know, like I try to be this positive, like energetic everywhere I go. And then, but at the same time, it's like when you start looking at people on certain levels, you forget that there's a human being behind it.
Yes.
And when you hear the Potter saying, you hear the human side. It's like, wow, you know what? Yeah, we call him the hero, but this is like, he was molded from something else. And that's where you get in the Potter saying, it's like, okay, he came from something. This is, he deals with stuff too. And this is like peek into the life of what he deals with and has dealt with. Yeah.
With that being said, I think that goes to growth. The fact that earlier on you stated that you've been in it almost a decade, that's something that you don't, that kind of introspection that you don't get your third year in.
No.
You know, you're still finding your voice. You're still finding that hero album. You're still searching for that. So, I mean, me and you were talking about it, me and Jordan are pointing to right now, we're talking about Jay-Z. I mean, the album he released most recently and where he went with that album, obviously it's not Christian rap, but same type of thing. The look into his life, the type of things he was letting free at that point in time. My goodness, I feel like that was a career in the making.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're able to delve into that at this, not, I don't want to say already, but you know, 10 years out at this point, I think that's important for your listeners. So I'm sure they'll love it.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. That's what I meant to say, what he just said.
Right, they'll love it. It's been out. Where can they find your music?
Yes.
Yeah, it's already.
I
mean, he's promoting the tour a little bit, but those double albums have been released for since, was it the winter time? You had that listening party?
February 17th.
And where is your music available?
Everywhere.
Right.
Now you can go to iTunes, Spotify, you know, Deezer. I don't know who uses Deezer, but if you use Deezer, check me out on there.
Get your Deezer game up.
Get your Deezer game up. Pandora. What else is out there? Amazon Music.
Everywhere music
Google
is available.
Play.
Yeah.
You just Google me.
Right.
Please Google me.
Right. There you go.
Google sent me a small check the other day. It was only for a couple cents. I need y'all to Google me.
Right.
Tell me a little bit. Right. Tell me a little bit before we jump into the tour. Tell me a little about the process. What inspires you? I mean, obviously you just talked about what inspired In the Potter's Hand, you know, with the death of your grandmother and just kind of reflecting, and it pushed that music out of you. But just in general, what is your process like with making music? Because I'm sure you're still recording now, even though you're promoting your double album, you're probably looking ahead to what's next. And what does that inspiration process look like for you?
Honestly, like right now, and this is like, I love this place that I'm in right now, because I'm able to draw inspiration from almost anything. You know what I mean? Like even the idea of coming here today, I was like, you know what? I was like, I think I got a song for both sides. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, well, let me just put on a beat and see what I can do. And then, you know, I freestyle. You know, I normally don't freestyle, but lately that's been my thing. It's like, okay, let me put on beats and just freestyle and see what I come up with.
Yeah.
And always improving.
Yeah, man. And over the course of the past like week, I've recorded about 4 songs. Like nothing real official, but I just been putting on beats and just seeing like where I'm at now. You know what I mean? So I'm inspired. I'm inspired by inspiration. You know what I mean?
There
like,
it is.
You know, I mean,
that's a quote, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like something.
That's a quotable.
Listen, that's a quotable.
Prophetic. I like it.
Yeah.
It's approved by Nice.
Just go ahead and put my name after that real quick.
Right. Credit where credit is due.
Hey.
Now, so the tour is called the Unity Tour, correct?
Yes.
So how did you get involved with the tour? I mean,
and who all is on tour with you?
Right.
Right now, it's actually kind of cool. The same uncle I was telling you about, because I wasn't planning on doing a tour this year. Like, you know, every tour I've done has always been like, you know, September, October, and it's all like a citywide thing. It's like, okay, let me keep it right here at home, here in Rochester. And he told me, he said, hey man, we should do the Unity Tour. see if we can get some quartet groups involved, see if we can get some singers, some dancers. And I was like, okay, well, you know what, I'll put the idea together. And I threw it together and posted it. Didn't expect the response that we got. And, you know, a lot of people was like, hey, well, can you come do this? Can you come do this? And I'm like, wow. I was like, well, we're going to have to, like, make this longer. So, you know, and it just so happens, like, a lot of groundwork that was laid years ago is actually starting to, you know,
fruits of that labor.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I signed up for, I signed up on, like, a website, like, years ago and put up, like, 2 songs, and somebody heard one of the songs from Pennsylvania and hit me up. Was like, yo, man, can you come do our concert? It's about an hour set. I'm like, you only heard 2 songs. How you know I got an hour worth of music? Like, but that was like, okay, cool. Well, let's do this. So, like, as far as like the Unity tour, it's not necessarily a bunch of people on tour with us, but it's about us coming together when we do it. So, like, we started out with just us, and now there's like more people getting on. You know what I mean? And it's
and
are
these all local artists?
Yes,
or
local artists.
From other states?
It's local artists from out of town. Like this one artist named Salty from Syracuse, really like looked out for us. Like she got us on a showcase in Syracuse, and then the following week I went right back to Syracuse for the New York State Fair. And you know, it's just like that combination of like her style of music with our style of music. We've been working on some tracks. I mean, I can't drop nothing on y'all just yet, but yeah, we got a couple things we working on.
Can't give them everything.
You know what I'm saying? And then there's a group of us here, a bunch of gospel rappers from here. We decided to, you know, band together and do something, you know, kind of big. Cause we actually did the Kingdom Bound Festival in Darien Lake, and we got up there. We just freestyled. You know, I played the piano a little bit, just a little bit. I want to throw that out there. I played the keys just a little bit.
Right.
But yeah, we did that, and we decided like after that, it was like, yo, why don't we just stick together and start doing some big things? So now we formed this group called The Body, and what we've done our first concert last week, and it was just a tremendous blessing. So like that concert was like the essence of what the Unity Tour is. It's like a bunch of people coming together for a cause, you know what I mean? And, you know, I'm willing to work with anybody, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's supposed to end November 1st, but I actually got a couple emails today, people asking me to do things in November already, so it's like the Unity Tour goes into the end of the year, you know what I mean?
Right.
You heard it here first.
Right,
Yes.
So where's the next location? Is it like a ticketed thing? Where do people get tickets?
The next one is it's at a church on Remington Street. Forgive me, I don't have the address on me. But they're actually doing a music celebration. They're inviting a couple of out of town guests, including Salty from Syracuse, and myself. I believe his name is Joshua Tisdale from here. This should be a very nice event. That's the next one that we have going. I still kind of reserve September and October for my city. Like, you know, I mean, just I don't ever want to get to the point where I feel like I'm too big to do something at home. You know what I mean? So the first couple months we were out of town a few times, but like I reserved September and October because of back to school and, you know, got Halloween season coming and everything. So I try to stay here for all the youth events and everything because that's where the passion is for me. You know?
Yeah, the youth.
Yeah.
Now, what
is the date of that next tour?
The date.
I mean, the next. You said the church on Remington. What's the date for that?
Yeah, it's going to be Sunday. I believe that's the 29th, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So towards the end of the month. So we got time to promote that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got some time.
No, I'm sorry. The 29th of October or the 29th of September?
Oh, the 29th of September.
Oh no.
So what's the next one?
The one after that, there's one in October on the 22nd and the 27th. I got
So we got time to promote
that. I'm gonna send y'all everything.
Right, there you go.
I'm gonna send y'all everything.
There you go.
Also, what I was gonna say is, so now with this being said, you still have a day job, yes?
Yes.
And how do you find time to work everything in that you want to accomplish with this passion, especially from the sounds of it as it's starting to grow and take on really its own life? I mean, MC Ronzi, his persona is starting to, you know, I don't want to say overtake you as a person, but you know, he's definitely got his own legs at this point.
Yeah. He be running off, man. Leave me at work.
Right.
No, but the way I try to deal with it, is actually I've been blessed to have the type of job where there's a certain amount of freedom and to the extent of like I drive, so
Okay.
if I feel like writing, I can always pull over and jot down something.
Right.
So it's like it's basically about the amount of sleep I can sneak in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because a lot of times it's like if I'm at work and I'm working on something in my head, or if I'm writing something down here and there, when I get off, man, it's like straight to the booth. You know what I mean? So
That's that love. That's that passion.
Yeah. The best thing about it is if I pick one specific day that I'm gonna work on something, then through the week I can practice, so I don't spend as much time in the booth. You know what I mean? So it's like,
which, not for nothing, as someone who used to be in a group, that is so understated. The lack of actual work that gets done in the studio. Can we? I mean, I don't know about professionals, but I know I think that's something that the amateurs don't get down. Please go to the booth to record.
Yeah.
Don't wait till you in the booth to start finishing your lyrics.
No. You
don't go to the booth to smoke, to chill.
Listen, you got to be ready.
I swear to you.
You have to be ready. Like, and even though I record on my own, that's what I'm saying. Even though I record on my own, I have to practice this. Because I'm never sure when somebody's gonna say, "Hey, I want you to collab with me on this track." I don't want to go in there and be holding up somebody's time, especially if they paid for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, it's all about being ready. You know what I mean? Like I practice it over and over again. Or if it is one of those on the fly things where I have to just show up and be ready, I have like the lyrics in my phone and I have like a flow where it's like, okay, I'm gonna be able to lay this down. I'm not spending more than 10 minutes in here. You know what I mean?
Do you find it hard to figure out how you want to approach certain songs and certain beats? Like, is it always the same voice? As an artist, are you always coming from the same place? I know you were talking about, how Hero Ronzi, on Hero, how MC Ronzi is on the song. Is it easy to flow in and out of that, or do you just sometimes? I just, as I'm speaking, I'm saying I know when I used to record, sometimes I'd hit a song and I'd be like, nah, you know what? I don't like the way that voice sounded. Maybe I can, do you find that challenging?
Yeah. I wanted to be cool, like nah, it's easy for me. Nah, but it's the same, man. It's like sometimes I'll record something and I'm like, man, nah, this is not the voice for this.
Right.
And then, I'll try something a little different and I'm like, nah, this is not it. And sometimes I throw out the whole like way I want to do it and I listen to the music. Yeah. And sometimes like the beat itself has already gave you like a cool cadence to rap to it. Like sometimes like I put it like this, sometimes I'll rap with the drum, sometimes I'll rap with another beat that's in there. So it's like even though it doesn't sound like you would expect it sounds like, oh man, I didn't think you was gonna rap to it like this, but it's like, okay, I found a different beat within the beat. Yeah, you know what I mean. So sometimes
you should say ride the beat.
Yeah,
you gotta ride that beat.
Yeah, some people ride the beat, some people get in the beat. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean. And when you like find that comfort zone on the beat, man, you able to just kind of flow. You know.
Now, lastly, unless you have another question, one of my other questions is, so at what point do you think it'll reach, or are you, I feel like you're on that transition now, where perhaps this would just be it? This would be what you're really doing? I mean, obviously the love is there. Do you think you're gonna reach a point, or when, I guess, do you think you'll reach the point where it's all or nothing, put every break, put it all into it?
Yeah, you know what? I said over the course of this year and next year that I was going to just give it my all, you know what I mean? You know, of course I still got to keep the day job just in order to pay for everything.
Right.
But I said I was going to really give it my all, you know what I mean? There was never a drive to be famous necessarily, but it's always that I would love to be able to do what I love and be paid for it. You know, so I can kind of like, just really enjoy giving it away. Like, the thing is, like, a lot of us work hard to just get the name, but, your name could be made great even if you don't have a hit song, you know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, like, I want to get to the place where I'm well off enough that I can give my music away. But, the thing is, when it comes to that.
Or with the tour now, I mean, to get to a place where the tour isn't, the tri-state area.
Yeah.
More or less you going, just spreading the word.
Honestly, that's where I want to be at. You know what I mean? I've actually been laying some groundwork with a couple of different places. guess I go ahead and plug this in there real quick. I actually am on a platform in Paris called Dorema. It's basically like a Paris version of Spotify, but it's all Christian music.
Okay.
And I actually been in talks with them to travel there next year to perform, and as well as
Paris.
Yeah, the Paris.
Wow,
the Paris,
that's awesome.
France.
Right.
Yeah. First thing I'm gonna get is some French fries.
Oh God.
But yeah, I'm in talks with them right now. You know, we kind of like keeping that open communication, just so you know, because they're actually getting bigger. So I want to make sure they don't forget. Like, hey, listen,
Right.
I was there when the platform started.
Right. Get in on the ground floor. Matter of fact, did you buy some shares in that? Did you?
Yeah. Listen. I made sure they sent me my check last week.
Right.
Yeah, I got my first check in euros. You know
There
what I'm
you
saying?
go. There you go.
It took a minute to convert it. But,
I was
you know what I'm
gonna say,
saying?
that's foreign
Long as
money.
it showed up.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, them got a couple friends that are from Africa, and friends that are living in South Africa. So we're I was actually supposed to go there this year. You know, just passport issues and plane ticket stuff. But we're actually setting something up so I can actually travel there, and I'm gonna minister a few songs when I get there too. So you know.
Do you have a spot in Africa picked right now?
It's Botswana.
Okay.
Yeah, South Africa. It's like right on the cusp, I guess you would call it. Like, but yeah, that's the spot that we're thinking about going to. And yeah, you know.
Let's get into this clothing line.
Oh,
so you have a clothing line.
We got about 2 minutes left, so
Okay.
you can quick plug.
Hero.
Mm.
I mean, I know that one of the albums in the double release was called Hero. What inspired? Was it the album that inspired it? What's the meaning behind it?
Hero
Where can
Life,
people
man.
find
You
it?
know what I'm saying? Hero Life. If you go to MC Ronzi on Facebook, you can go ahead and click that shop button right now.
There we go.
Yeah, or you can go to my website, www.therockcityhero.com.
Okay.
Yeah, the clothing line is on there as well underneath the merch tab. But yeah, Hero Life is just, you know, I feel like it's just a way of life, you know, because everybody living ain't about that life. I felt like I seen Brother Marcus in my head when I said that, you know what I'm saying?
There we go.
But yeah, you know, me and Rayma, that's my fiance. She actually has her brand on there as well. It's also Hero Life, but it's basically says her, and the O is made out in a heart shape.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you know, so definitely got a bunch of stuff coming, man. We about to do the breast cancer line and everything.
Okay.
So yeah, you know, just go out there and support us.
So they can find it on Facebook.
They can find it on Facebook,
Or Instagram. Is it tagged in Instagram?
It's tags on everything.
And what's
Definitely
your
send us some pictures of
what's
it.
your
What we'll do
symbol?
is we'll hit up. We'll do the hashtag thing on our links.
Yeah.
Perfect.
On our,
what's your
Instagram.
@? What's your @ on these social media platforms?
Oh, on all social media platforms is at The Rock City Hero.
The Rock City Hero.
Yeah.
There we go. So what we got, like 30 seconds?
Just about.
I mean, if you want to just, no, she shouldn't spit.
No, I don't want to disrespect him like that because, like you said, it's only 30, it's only 30
I
seconds.
appreciate
So I
it.
don't want to do that to him. But what we will do, I was going to say, is maybe next week to open up the next show, we can play, if with your permission, you let us know what one of your songs you want us to play.
Most definitely.
You know, just start the show. It's gonna be 2 parts. So y'all better act like y'all know and
Right.
tune in next time so y'all can hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
But thanks
Thank
again
you for joining us.
for
We
coming out.
definitely
Appreciate it.
appreciate it.
Thanks again for the intro.
Yes.
We're gonna be using that for years to come.
Yes. So you have left your mark on both sides.
Yeah.
For life.
Right. Check us next Thursday. Deuces, guys.
Peace.